Hello. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. Let me get this off here. Okay, I have no idea what that is doing. Bear with me, y'all. It's been a while. All right, I think I got this. There we go. It's just like riding a bike, you guys. Got several things happening here, but welcome. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Wherever you are, whether you're a mom, a grandma, a single dad, being a mama, you're a fur baby mama out there. Welcome. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Today is May 11th, and it's 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And my name is Barbara Ragsdale, and I'm an independent creator that lives in San Antonio, Texas. And today we're going to be doing a couple of Mother's Day cards, and also have a project. And I'm glad that I'm inside because it is already like super hot out there, and it's going to be getting hotter in the next few days here in San Antonio. So after I go tend to my garden in the morning time, I will be in here staying cool and crafting. So for those of you that haven't been following, I did earlier this year decide to start gardening. And so I have been raising a bunch of seeds in my backyard. Well, it was in my kitchen. And then when I could put them out, I put them out. And I've just been tending to those. And they're at a point now where everything's growing, everything's starting to flower. My vegetables are starting to flower and things are starting to come in. So it's just a matter of going out there and picking stuff that needs to get picked. And as far as like diseased leaves or things that have just died off, and watering. So I can focus on some other things now. I don't have any foster kittens. For those of you who have been watching me for a while, y'all know I foster kittens with the city of San Antonio. And then also I decided to sign up to be a foster with the Animal Defense League. And I purposely do not have any babies because I was doing all the gardening and then some other things around the house, in addition to having to take care of Chris. He had surgery on his back a month or so ago, and we were dealing with that. So, but yeah, I'm back. StreamYard's working a little differently, so I won't be putting up things. I think I can still share my screen, but I won't be putting up any notices or anything like that. Hello, Beverly. Yes, if you're joining us live, welcome to the live, or if you are watching the replay, thank you so much for watching the replay. Right after this video, I'm going to be hitting the little post button for the blog. So you'll be able to go to the blog and get all of the measurements for both of the cards that I'm making today, as well as all of the steps that you need in order to make the little super simple project that I'm going to be making in the end. So yes, thank you for sharing, Beverly. All right, let me get this pointed down. My craft room, I want to say it's organized, but I've been moving some stuff around, so it's like a complete mess right now. So let's get this pointed down so we can get started on today's projects. And if y'all didn't watch the video of the products that I'm using, it is on my YouTube channel. You'll want to go check that out. I showed the paper that we're going to be using today, and it is it's the 49 in Market. Let me grab my front cover sheets here. Oh, I think I used one of them. Yeah, I think I used one of them to do the project, but it's the new 49 in Market Vintage Orchard collection. This is the solids collection pack cover, but the other one I had to use for the project. So I don't have that one to show. All right, let's get started with card number 1, which is going to be this card. Let me bring this down just a little bit. And all of the cats are here, so hopefully they won't be interrupting today's presentation. But this is going to be card number 1. I did post this on my page already kind of as a sneak peek, but we're going to be doing that one, which is going to be some embossing, dry embossing, and then some embossing with our heat tool. Yep, there's cats already running around in the backyard, in the background here. So let me put that off to the side, and let's go ahead. I've already done all of the steps, so it should make this go by a lot faster once we get started here. Let me grab my bone folder. All right, so we are going to be using the cardstock that I'm using for both of these cards. This is Tailored Expressions, and this is buttercream frosting, which sounds really good right now on a cupcake, right? And at some point, I know Mikey's supposed to be stopping by, but I didn't catch a time. And for those of you, I'm just going to stamp the back here. For those of you that follow me, y'all, the other day he came over here, and I was looking for my personalized stamp. He came over here real late after he got off of work. And let me do this real quick because I can't talk and stamp at the same time. There we go. Also, if you're looking for a personalized stamp company, Tailored Expressions does do personalized stamps. And in the blog, you're going to see a link for Tailored Expressions. If you want to shop with them, there's a referral link. I appreciate you using the referral link because you get, I think with Tailored Expressions, you get a $10 off coupon, and then I get a $10 off coupon. So it's a win-win for both of us. But that's where I got my personalized stamp from a couple of years ago, I guess it was. Maybe almost a couple of years ago. Anyway, all of the products that I used, the supplies are on the blog. They will be on the blog link. But I decided to emboss this one. And honestly, I don't remember what the name of this is, but it's listed in the blog. Everything's kind of been a blur when it comes to product names since I'm getting back into it. But what I decided to do on my card is around the edge, you can take a little sanding block and just sand it. I'm going to sand mine so that it gives it a little bit of kind of worn look to it. And you don't have to go all the way around unless you want to. And when you do that, it takes some of the paper off and just kind of gives it a little bit of a distressed look. Okay. And so we're going to put that down first on the front center of our card. Look at the back of that. Yeah, if y'all haven't looked at the video of this paper, it is gorgeous. And I'm looking forward to doing the spring folio project with this paper as well. But I'm ordering the 6x8 paper in order to do that, so that I can reserve this larger 12x12 paper for my cards and any other little projects I want to do. All right, with this particular card, what I did is there's pre-printed pattern paper. There's pre-printed pattern paper. This is one of the pre-printed ones, and I really like that, although I didn't care too much with it saying with thanks, but I figured since I'm going to be doing the Happy Mother's Day over here, it should cover that up, but we're going to find out. But I really liked this particular pre-printed, and then of course the back you've got you've got a different design and a different color, but I wanted something to where I could do like that. And did I put that up on dimensionals? No, I didn't. Okay, that's okay. I couldn't remember if I did or didn't. I got a couple of pieces of this lace ribbon. And what I'm going to do on this one, I'm going to put some adhesive so that I can stretch this across. That. And then let's put this up on. I'm going to use some foam. We're going to use some foam rounds on the back. So we can pop this up. And I'm going to go ahead and put one in the middle as well, just to help stabilize the middle. Okay, so let's do that. And then we're going to put this on this way. But before I do that, just to make it easy for me, I did take one of the little die cuts, and let me put a little bit of, let me see if I can get the glue on it. It's probably easier to use glue right here along the edge. Just like that. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy. And then we're going to put that up here and attach it to the back so that it looks like a little tab hanging off the edge there. Okay, and now let's put this on. You can put that on later, I mean, if you really wanted to. Okay, so we're just going to start building our little card here. And then this one, what we're going to do is I want to slide it in first and then put my little foam pieces there so that this piece can slide up underneath just like that. I hope it covers up that width, thanks, because I didn't cut another piece. And then what I can do after that is back here on this back corner, I can put my little foam pieces to start pushing that down. And I'm going to put one over here. That's to help secure this to the base piece. And then I'm going to go ahead and put one on the corner right here as well. I just didn't want to put it on there and then it attached accidentally to this top piece that I used. Right? All right. And then now let's go ahead and emboss our Happy Mother's Day. Okay. So let me scoot that over there. And then I have got all of my, I can grab it here. Got all my pieces over here. Let me bring that. We're going to be using Versamark if you've never did some embossing. And then I also have my regular gold embossing powder from Wow. And I've got it already in my Sizzix tray. And the first step we're going to do is we're going to take our little bag of anti-static powder. It's going to rub it over the top there. Let me move this off to the side just for now. So I rubbed that on there, and what that does is that takes the static off the paper, but it also kind of preps it so that when you stamp it with the Versamark, it will leave a sticky residue of that Versamark onto whatever you're going to be stamping on, and then the powder will stick to it. And this one simply says Happy Mother's Day. And this particular stamp set was Tailored Expressions. And it's called Botanical Sentiments, which just happens to be, by the way, not orderable anymore. But you can use any other Mother's Day message that you might have. And I'm going to stamp this over to the left of this piece of vellum. I am stamping on vellum. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this up here so that you can see what Versamark does is it leaves kind of like a watermark. And you can still see it's wet right now. And I'm going to stick this in my little tray of gold powder. And I'm going to make sure it gets all over that part that was wet. Okay. And then I'm going to tap, tap any excess off. And if there was any other pieces that might have stuck kind of over here, you can just, lightly get that off or use like a little bitty brush to get them off. But that's nice and clean. At this point, when you're embossing like this, you don't want to touch it right now because that powder is still dry. That powder is still dry. And if you touch it, you will mess it up and you ultimately have to use another piece, start all over. It could go bad, right? But that's why I had this little piece right here so that I'm about to use my heat tool. And hopefully you guys will be able to see, like literally right before your eyes, this go from a dry powder to a very shiny piece. So I'm going to use my left hand while I use my right hand here, and hopefully, let me do it. I'm right-handed, y'all. Let me use my right hand. So this is going to be upside down just for a minute so that I can actually move this around and show you guys it setting. Okay, so hopefully that's not too loud for you. There you go. It's setting. There you go. Y'all, it is that simple to do embossing with your embossing powders. And you can see it is shiny all over. So you want to get it close enough to where you can start to see it and basically set and melt. But you don't want to get it so close that you burn your paper, right? All right, what is this that's making this noise? Something on my computer is making that beeping noise. So, all right, so let's bring our card back. And this is where I need to get creative. And I probably will bring this down just a little bit so you can still see some of that butterfly that's under there. It's a little lower than what I wanted, but I'm trying to cover up that with things. You know what? Let's do this. I'm thinking, y'all, because I didn't anticipate not showing that. Well, no, let's just do this. Let's do it that way. All right, let's do it that way. Let me just go with what I was originally going to do. It'll just be a little bit lower than what I wanted it to be. And I'm just going to put some of this Mono Air adhesive on the back since it's clear. And we're going to put this down a little bit lower so that that mother's part covers up where it says with thanks. Okay. So you can't even see that now. All right. And then I have a couple of other little pieces over here. This is part of leftover from a little zip strip that I had left over. And what I want to do is just make a little banner. So let me cut that, and that. So I can get a little banner going there. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here. You could also use a glue dot if you wanted. And I want this to hang out right here. So I'm going to put that up in there. Of course, it's hitting that dimensional there. So let me pull this up a little bit. There we go. Put that back down. I wanted something to peek out of this little corner over here. So press that back down. And then I had this little die cut that I wanted to use, but I also wanted to add a little bit of hardware to it. So you see right here on this little edge, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I'll just use this since I don't have my foam. I'm going to take this and make a hole in the middle of those little pre-printed pieces right there. So let me push that through. Push that through. And then what do I got? I got some brads, some bronze brads. Just take a couple of them. These will be listed in the blog as well. These are Tim Holtz little brads. Well, they're not little, but they're brads. And then when I put this on the back, because I don't want to spread those little prongs out, I want to keep them together, and I want to push them down where they're facing towards the inside, just like that. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing for the other one. Okay, and then I want to press that down where it's going towards the center. Okay, and then I'm going to grab one of these round foam pieces here, put that in the middle, and then depending on how's this going, it goes like that. Okay, so this one's going to go like this right here. It's going to go in a little bit different direction, but that's because of the way the apple is hanging from this little piece. On mine, it was the original card, it was a butterfly off to the side, and it could go either way. But since I pulled this down a little bit more than that one, I want to put that right there going basically landscape. And then I have this other strip of ribbon, this lace ribbon I got from Michaels. I've used this before in some of my other cards and projects. I'm not going to do a bow because I don't want it to get so thick right there. So I'm just putting it right in the middle and basically making a little knot. And then I want to take my scissors, my ribbon scissors, which have become my all-purpose scissors because I can't find my other pair of regular scissors. So I'm going to have to get another pair of scissors just for ribbon. And that's it. That's all I did on this card. But yeah, there is card. That's card number 1. And you got a little dimension happening there. So yeah, card number 1. Hope you like it. That's the one I posted as a preview when I was setting all this up. All right, the second card, it's a little bit more involved. And what are we doing on the second card? Let me show you. So this one is kind of, doesn't look like anything, right? It doesn't say anything. At least on the front, it doesn't, although it could if you wanted to. But this basically is considered a double Z card. As you can see, it looks like 2 Zs, right? One after the other. It looks like that from the bottom, but from the top, it's like backwards Zs, right? So we're going to be doing a double Z card. And when you open it, of course, it stands up like that. So if you have a picture or something you want to put in there, or if there's something you want to write on the inside, you can put something on the inside here. But basically, when you open it, it does say Happy Mother's Day. So we're going to be doing this double Z card. So let me put this off to the side. Everything's already cut and scored. So if you need measurements, you can go to the blog. And the blog, literally, I have some gold dust on here now. So let's get started. We're going to take our piece of, this also is Tailored Expressions, and this is this black cardstock. The name of it is Oreo. As an Oreo cookies, which sound really, really good right now, right? All right, so we're going to fold this in half. Okay, and then it is scored right here down the middle on the front flap. So we're going to take that piece and fold it back. Okay, so we're starting to get our Z in check here. Actually, this is the single Z right now, but when we add that strip to the bottom, that's what creates the double. And the first thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and attach our papers. So we have one there, and then we have 2 there that fit on that side. Okay, so let's get these down. I'm going to do what I did when I did this card, which was I stamped it. Normally, you want to do your stamping before. I think I'll go ahead and do the stamping because that made me nervous. But I had a thought in my head that if I messed it up, when I did my sample, I put everything together and I stamped last, which I don't recommend. But if I had told myself if I messed up, I would just do a die cut over it and just cover it up. But fortunately, I got it right the first time. So what I'm going to do is let me clean my stamp because right now it's got that black sorry, it's got the Versamark on there. So I'm going to clean this real good because I'm going to go ahead and stamp it because I know it needs to be like right in the middle. So if you have like Memento or any kind of black that you want to use, it needs to be literally like right in the center. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and just get that. That way it can have plenty of time to dry. Oh, before I do that, this is a cardstock. What I did to make sure that it wouldn't smear, because I was concerned about it smearing, is I took my little sanding block and just went over like the middle part of it where I was going to be stamping, just to kind of roughen up the paper just a little bit. Okay, that's what I did do just to make sure that it wouldn't smear. I wasn't let me do this first, y'all. I wasn't anticipating it, but I wasn't sure how it would it would stick, basically. So I'm not going to touch it on purpose because I don't want to smear it, and so that'll give that time while I put on my other pieces here. We're going to put these pieces down, and you want to make sure they're centered in between the scores, and then it lines up with the other pages, these other pieces as well. And you'll start to see this card just develop right before your eyes. All right, so okay. So we have all our base pieces on, and the next, what we're going to do is each card can be different um, depending on what you're doing. Okay, so when I cut these out, I purposely flipped because originally I had cut both sides like that. I purposely wanted this that had the font, the scripty words and stuff. I wanted that to be up front. Okay. This piece right here, it didn't really matter which side you use, but I wanted it to be that way it would pick up a lot of those colors. So let's go ahead and put this one down. I'm right in the center. You want to center all of this so you see a little bit of that background cardstock. And I'll go ahead and put that one down as well. I'm going to put adhesive on this back side. Okay, and then I need to turn it that way because of my writing that's on that pre-printed paper there. Okay, get that straight. All right, so we have both of those pieces on. And then on my card, I did put a piece of the buttercream frosting cardstock. I did mat it on the inside. That way, if you wanted to write a simple message or maybe put a photo, like a cropped photo in this spot, you can get away with doing that. So let's go ahead and center that. And you can see how you can still see a lot of those colors that are part of that paper, and it's going to all start to come together. Okay, so now that we have our base Z card down with all our pieces there, let's go ahead and do the next step is going to be to do the second part, which is the double Z. And I don't know if you can see it from there, but there's 2 score lines. The best way to do this is this one gets folded in. So that one gets folded in, and this one gets folded back. Okay. And then we're going to put our paper on, and then we're going to attach it to the actual card. Okay. So that tells you which sides the papers go on. And I have a long one. That goes right. So let's get adhesive on the back of this. And this one's going to go right here in the center between all your score marks and the end, or your one score mark and then the end. And then you've got two smaller pieces. I'm going to put on the inside. Get that centered. Is that beeping again? I think it's a light, actually, now that I think about it. Let's see. And then we'll do one on that side. Okay. All right. There are pictures on the blog because this little step right here might be a little tricky to understand for my picture. But basically, fold this piece down, fold your card down. This piece that we just did for this strip, fold that as well. And what's going to happen is we're going to put adhesive on the back sides right here, on this back side, and then on this long back side that's exposed over here. You don't want to put adhesive all the way because then that will make your card stick together. Okay, that's why I went ahead and fold it so that I know where to put adhesive, which is going to be right here on this piece. And then on this piece, only up until, make sure I get it on the end there too, because we want it to stick really good. All right. And now that my card is closed and this is closed, what we're going to do is we're going to line this up. Don't press it down just yet, but we're going to line this up with the bottom right. And we're going to line this side up with this part right here. Okay. So let's go ahead and kind of hover that over. I'm going to get this down first. And then I'm going to do this part. And then I'm going to press down. Okay. So I did this little section first and then kind of lightly held it up so that it wouldn't catch, and then attached it to the other side. And now, as you can see, it's got a little spring to it, and it's not closed because I did not put adhesive on this whole back piece. I only put it up as far as I needed to. Okay. So now we technically have a double Z card. Is that not cool or what? Now all you have to do is literally decorate it. Okay. And I used Honeybee's stitched oval set. It's a whole set of stitched ovals. I used the smaller one here because I wanted to attach that right over the front, and that's going to help cover up the sentiment that's on the inside, which is why it needed to be stamped like right in the middle. I went ahead and took a piece of the pattern paper, and I like this side because of the print. The back side was the wood grain. We're going to put adhesive on the back. Now, I cut two of these ovals the exact same, with the exact same die cut, but what I did on this one so that it would go inside that one is I cut around it just short of where the stitch is. You can see that there's a stitch on there. That way this would, this could mat on the inside of this stitched die cut, just like that. Okay. Now we want that to be in the center. So we're going to put adhesive on the back, but we're only going to put it on like the back right, maybe the last inch. So I'm going to put my finger right there so I know as far as I need to go. Let's just get adhesive, whatever your favorite adhesive is, glue, sticky tape, whatever it might be. And then put that right in the center. That way this attaches to that front flap and it doesn't stick on the back side because I only went so far with my adhesive. Okay. So we have that. And on this one, I'm going to use the apple just to decorate the front right here. These are their little chipboard pieces. And It doesn't look like I did it on this one, but I have, I used like a linen ink and sponge daubed around the edge on my other ones in order to kind of just tone down the brightness of the area around these particular chipboard pieces. So I want to put this right there. Okay, so I'm going to have to put adhesive basically in the back of this area right here. And I'm just going to use glue, some green glue. Might take a moment for it to set. I can also put it on the other side too. But I'll just do it there. That way I can cover up this side of the stitched oval. Take a moment to set. And then I have two other die cuts that I'm going to use. One of them is this ribbon die cut, and I want that to hang off the stem area, but I want it to also stick right there. So I do have some micro glue dots. Oh, that's not the micro. I need my micro ones. I have several size glue dots, and I need my little bitty ones. There we go. I need my little bitty ones. I get that on the edge, and I'm going to put one right in the center of the bow. And then let me go ahead and put that on there and get that down. Let's do that one that way. Let's kind of turn it at an angle. Okay, but I don't want these pieces to just be up like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a couple of more glue dots, and I'm going to put one back behind here. Ooh, it's sticky. So it sticks down, and I'm going to put one right here on the edge. So this little piece does not catch. It still might catch on something. Get that underneath there. There you go. That little piece right there might catch on something, but I put a glue dot back there and a glue dot right back there. This little piece might, but you could probably just use some glue on that piece. And then on this one, I'm going to use a little mini black. And I'm using black so that if you're looking at the card on the end, you don't see any of the white of the foam pieces. And I'm going to put this one right here. This is another one of those little die cuts that just has a simple little piece of string out of, and that's a heart. It's a heart. And then after that, you can decorate it however else you want to decorate it. If you want to add some embellishments of some kind, I do have these little pieces right here. I'm going to show you. Let's take these colors. We'll take these colors. If you wanted to dress it up with just a simple, you don't even have to do many, because there's so much already happening with this card that it's already pretty enough, right? But there is your double Z card. See, double Z. And the message on the inside says Happy Mother's Day. I love this linen cardstock paper. It does help give some extra. If you have like a linen type embossing folder, you could probably get away with embossing that just to give it some extra depth, or some extra, what am I trying to say? Some extra feel to the paper, basically. But that is card number 2. Happy Mother's Day. A little different from the pear one that I did, because there's different chipboard pieces. So no two cards are going to be the same, because none of the paper's the same either, depending on where you cut it. Okay, but double Z card. All right. Last, let's see, where are we doing on time? Where's my clock? 40 minutes. Okay. Let's speed this one up. I got this one ready to go as well. This one is a little project, simple project. I did use the large ovals in my stitched ovals, and there are 8 or 9 steps that are on the blog that'll show you how to cut it. But yeah, it's a little simple project. The top of this is open, and it's open because I had my little pieces over here. Let's see. There's my, is it this? Yeah, it's this one. I used this one as an example. I just die cut a middle piece. So we'll pretend like this is a photo, like an oval photo that got die cut out. And I did leave the top of this open so that you'd be able to slide a photo down in there. And then you can move it around. And once you have it in place, if you want to close up the top with some glue, you can do that. But at least if it's hanging, the photo's not going to fall out the bottom because there's glue on the inside to keep it from going all the way through. And your top is open just a little bit so that you can get a pretty wide picture. I mean, that's a pretty good size picture. This one is 4 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches tall. So it fits, this one fits because I used the largest dies in this set. And then I don't know if you can see that from that angle, but I did put there is a window sheet to help protect the front of the photo. So let's put that one together. And like I said, all of the steps are on my blog, so you can see what you got to do first, what you got to do second, and so on and so on. Okay, but this is really simple to use and put together. It's a great way. I've got all my pieces right here, and I'm gonna try to do them in the order that I had on my blog. So let's do this one. It might not be in order, you guys. Just know that. Okay. I'm trying, but I'm trying to do this quickly, and I took my time when I was doing this other one. So what we're going to do first, the back side. I wanted the back to be decorative. So I'm going to take my piece of ribbon, which I decided on a 12-inch piece, and I'm going to kind of put that out just like that, lay it out. It needs to be in the center, and then I have a piece of tape that I'm going to use to help hold those pieces down so that they don't go anywhere. I figured tape was probably the best thing to do. And then the cardboard backing that you use, it doesn't matter. Well, it kind of does matter because you might be able to see a little bit of it, but the cardboard backing that you used in order to help stabilize this whole frame, on the back side of that, we're going to be putting glue. Okay. Now, what I did is I kept a lot in your designer, like if you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, some of the designer series paper came with like a heavy cardboard backing. I always save those. So if you have chipboard or maybe some kind of a heavy cardstock that you need to use up, this would be great to be able to use it because it's going to help give your whole frame the stability that it needs. Okay. And then once we get glue on the back, we're going to cover that piece up, the back piece, so that you don't see where that tape was on where the ribbon was. Okay. So now you have a nice clean piece on the front, and then you have a clean piece on the back. Your ovals may or may not, they should line up if you put this back on the right way. But when I cut this, I wanted the stitch side to be on the back, a nice pretty stitch to be on the back. So it may be off just a little bit. And if that's the case, you can either trim it. If that's going to drive you crazy, you can either trim it, or you can just take, get you a dark color that's part of like this paper. Get you a sponge dauber after everything is already decorated so you can kind of see where you need to go, and just distress the edges, and it'll give it like a shadow and you won't even notice it, right? You won't even notice it. All right. The next part that I need to do is I've got my front piece. And as you can see, like I said, remember, no two pieces are the same. And then I have my piece of window sheet. Now, we'll tell you on your window sheets, I've already taken it off of this one, which is why it is so clear. Now, I was able to I was able to die cut it with my die cut machine, but it would not go through all the way. So I did as much as I could with the die cutting machine. And then I ended up taking my paper snips and just going around the edge. But I went around the edge outside of where the stitch is. Okay. So I used that line as a guide. And then that gave me what I needed to make sure that my opening was covered all the way. And I did use the, let me show you. When I used my dies, if these were the original ones that I used, and I have them taped together for a reason so that I could get each cut the same width all the way around. The die that I used for my window sheet, I used the one that's sandwiched in between those. And if you noticed, somehow I managed to bend my die. So I got to fix that. But that's what I was talking about in my instructions, is the die that you need to cover the inside. You want it to be the one in the middle between the two that you used already. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, I bent my die. But back to the window sheet. Let me pull. I'm going to pull one out of my package here, because originally this window sheet is, most window sheets are not clear like that. Like right when you, unless it's like a really, really cheap, it looks like a frosted sheet, right? It looks frosted. So what you have to do, the best way I have ever found, is just to take a piece of tape and take the corner. I think this is the right side because it's on one side. These window sheets have a protective film on it. So what you want to do is you want to take a piece of tape, and of course this is the wrong side. I told you it's on one of these sides, and I pulled the side out that doesn't have it. So it's the back side, or at least the other side. Take your piece of tape, and then that'll help pull that protective layer off. Do you see that? So it goes from being like a frosted look, and now you can see that it's super, super clear. And that's because of that protective film that's on there. So I'm going to put that back on there and set this aside. But I wanted to show that to you in case you're like, why is mine not clear? That's why. You need to take that protective film off. All right, so back to this piece, our front piece. This, in my instructions, this is where you want to flip it over. That's the other part I was looking for a while ago. I knew I used it. And then what you want to do is you want to put some, I'm just going to use glue because that's pretty fast. And we're going to put it on, you got to squeeze, Barbara. Is none coming out? None's coming out. I think I'm out of that glue. All right, let's see if there's another one that's got some glue in there. What's up? Oh, there we go. I'm like, what's up with all my green glues? You want to put some glue all the way around on the inside. Okay. You can also use glue dots if you want to use glue dots. And since this is the back side, we're going to put this piece of window frame, or this clear window sheet around, and I'm going to press around the edge of it. Okay. That way, when we look at the front, it's nice and clean and it's on the back side. So I'm going to put that back there. And then how do I want to do this? I have to do it this way because my other one's already down. Okay, so we're going to have to use that. So basically on the back, the same back that we just worked on, we're going to put some more glue down halfway on the outside. Oh, this one's almost going out too. Well, geez Louise. All my glue is out. Okay. Let me go grab a fresh, well, maybe I have another one right here. Nope, that one feels empty. Should have been more prepared with the backup glue. Okay, that one is, that one's sticking to me. Okay, success. We got some glue. All right, I'm just putting glue on the furthest outside back half. Because you remember, we want to leave that opening available. And let me put my glue back over here and replace this other one here. Go. Because you want to leave that top opening so that you can slide your picture in. And then take this piece that we just put glue on, and then bring your photo piece back. I got glue on my finger over here. And then we're going to put this on the front. And line that up. So if you're using glue, you got a little wiggle room to get that lined up. And then I'm going to try to use these fingers because this other finger has glue on it. And then just press it down, adjust it if you need to adjust it. Okay. We're getting there. And basically after this, the only thing you have to do left is literally decorate it. And I have my pieces over here. It's going to look a little bit different, but I took my chipboard pieces because I didn't want them to be all flat. I did take my chipboard pieces and I went ahead and inked around the edge just to tone down the brightness on the edge. And then if you can see, I did add a little dimension to it. So what I did is I just fold my leaves just so that there would be some dimension to this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put some, let me use a big foam. I'm going to use a couple of them down the center. We want this to pop up from the frame here. And let's put this one right there. Okay, so you got some more dimension. I also have a butterfly. Let me put a big one in the middle there. And we're going to put this right here. Just kind of overlap that a little bit. And then I have another one of my chipboard pieces. And let's lose a big one. And we're going to put this one kind of over here, kind of coming out from that part of the butterfly. And then I have a little bee. Let's use a small one on this one. I did use a couple of the other enamel pieces on that one. And let's put that one right there. Let's space it out a little bit. And then my little baubles and bubbles. Let's take one of these brown ones. And just, let's put this one up here. And let's take one of these colors. These right here have like a little line in them. And we'll put one over here. Just decorate it however you want to decorate it. Now, what I did do is I did use some glossy accents when I did this one over here. And let me bring this up so you can see. I put some glossy accents on the bird, and I put some glossy accents on, I don't know if you can see that, but I did put it on the butterfly and some other spots. And I want to do the same thing for what I'm doing on this. So let's get some glossy accents on this butterfly. And then let me get some on the leaves, down the center of the leaves. I'll go back and add some more. Okay, so we got some glossy accents there. I'm going to put some on the edge of my butterfly here. And then I'm going to fan out. Once this glossy accents dries, it gives it a little raised effect. So it looks like it's embossed, but it's not. Just got to be gentle with it. So I'm just kind of trying to wisp it out here so that I don't get a big blob on it on there, because once it's on there, it's on there. Let me get that stem. And you don't have to be perfect, although it does have a tiny edge to it. So if you're writing something or doing something, you can what am I trying to say? I lost my train of thought. It just won't come out. A whole lot won't come out, basically. Okay. All right. And that is it. That is it. And that's going to take a little bit of time to dry, but you can see there's some glossy accents on there. And then also, you probably can't see them on the butterfly, but they're on there. And then I put some on these leaves and then put a little bit on the bee over here. And then remember the top flaps open so that we can slide a picture down in there. The inside should be dried already. And there's your little photo holder. So there we have it. Let me pull this up just a little bit so I can bring everything back. And we are almost at an hour. So yay. I was trying to keep it to less than an hour. And let me do this little right there. Hopefully you can see that. Happy Mother's Day. And then if I can squeeze these in over here. Got a Happy Mother's Day. Let me see if I can. There we go. Get a little bit more in there. Move that out of the way. I got Dino back here. He jumped up on the back of my chair. He's like, she's almost done. I'll just jump up there. So thank you everybody for joining me, or thank you for watching the replay. I hope you enjoyed the cards, whether it was tell me in the comment section which is your favorite. This would be card number 1, Happy Mother's Day, or if you liked the double Z card. Isn't this paper gorgeous against this black cardstock? It's gorgeous. Happy Mother's Day. Give her a little message, put a picture. And then if you wanted to use up some designer series paper you have, this right here would be just the easiest simple project to make for like teacher gifts. Totally handmade. All you need is some patterned paper. Technically, that window sheet is optional, but if you want to protect the picture or whatever you decide to put on the inside, then I would suggest using a window sheet, but everything is die cut using the same stitch die cuts. You can also get away with using squares, rectangles, circles. It's the same process, just with different dies. So thank you all for joining me today, this Sunday afternoon. It was good to see you all again. I hope you, like I said, I hope you enjoyed the cards. I will be coming back a little bit more often. Not every, let me get back here. Not every 4 or 5 months. But yeah. So now that things are settled, I'm going to start doing a little more crafting. So thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a great day, a Mother's Day, wherever you're at. Make sure to check out the blog post. Once I end this live, I'm going to go hit the button and post the blog post for all the measurements as well as pictures. So y'all have a great rest of your Sunday, Mother's Day, and we will see y'all in the next video. Bye, y'all.